Good morning, everyone. I'm Cynthia Lee, and welcome to Focus on South Texas. If there's one thing that we try to do here on Focus on South Texas, it's to give you, the viewer, hope that there is a community service or a community program out there that can benefit you in some way. And today we're talking about a local nonprofit that actually has the word hope in its name, the Christian Hope Resource Center. Megan Legacy is here. She is the executive director. And Megan, let's just start off with, what is Christian Hope Resource Center?
Okay, well, the mission of Christian Hope Resource Center, and you might hear me refer to it as CHRC, a little bit easier and a little bit shorter.
Yes.
And we're known in the community as CHRC as well. But CHRC is a Christ-focused Westside resource center, empowering individuals and families in crisis to become sustainable, the individualized services, accountability, and grace.
Okay, what does that exactly mean? Kind of break that down.
Sure. What we do is we serve people who are in crisis and poverty, and usually they're in both. We are a local nonprofit, so we're not affiliated with any large umbrella organization, and we are a Christian-based nonprofit. However, anyone, of course, can be served by our organization and get involved as well. What we do is well, let me give you the history of CHRC.
Okay.
About 25 years ago, two women from Oak Hills Church wanted to serve the poor in San Antonio. And they opened up a small food pantry and began serving 10 and 20 families a month. And they began to grow and grow and grow in need. And so they grew in scope as well, and they moved to Jefferson Church of Christ. And then later in 2005, when the amount of people that were in need just continued to rise, they moved to our current location at 321 North General McMullen, which is right in the heart of the West Side, across from Rosedale Park. We're located on 9 acres, and we became a 501c in 2001. And since then, we've served between 2,500 and 3,000 households per month.
That is a lot. Just out of curiosity, because you mentioned the food pantry portion of it, do you work with the food bank at all?
We do. We are one of the food bank's largest partners in San Antonio. In fact, at one point, I think we were their largest single distribution pantry in San Antonio, serving about 5,000 households a month at one point.
I did not know that, because you always hear about the food bank,
right.
But you know, and they do serve so many different organizations in town. So I did not know that. Very nice.
And that's how the food bank serves. Actually, they partner with a lot of distribution pantries in San Antonio, and they serve as the hub, if you will. They have a lot of other programs too, but we then pay them a very low minimal fee, which helps, allows them to bring the food to our location. We can order canned food at very low rates from them. So that's how we partner with the food bank.
Well, you mentioned that the two women who started the organization decided to move camp over to the West Side. And is that because you felt that area had the greatest need, or has there been a rise in the need on particularly the West Side? Because there's poverty everywhere. It doesn't discriminate.
Sure.
Certainly.
Well, both. Actually, the food bank the food pantry of CHRC used to be on the Oak Hills Church campus. When Oak Hills Church moved to the Crown Ridge location, and as we began to expand, the board at the time decided, hey, we need a new location. We need to expand our operations. So they purchased the property in 2005, and that's where we are now.
And 9 acres is big.
It is big. We have five portable buildings and one large building.
Okay, and so what exactly do you do on that campus? I mean, people don't spend the night there. Because
Sure.
I know that Megan, by the way, her background is she came from Haven for Hope, which is the city's homeless campus.
Right.
And so you got some great information and experience there. It's kind of your boot camp, I guess. So what exactly do you do then at the 9-acre facility on the West Side?
Well, until just recently, we were pretty much serving as an emergency food pantry. We also had all these buildings and land, so we were opening up our buildings for other agencies such as Youth for Christ, Parental Solutions, Alcoholics Anonymous, Anger Solutions. A lot of those are our partners, and they were providing services in our building.
Which is kind of similar to how Haven for Hope works.
Sure, exactly.
I mean, it has that same campus-like feel. Okay.
And similar to Haven, where they try to address the root causes, we're trying to address the root causes of poverty with those who are from predominantly the West Side. We measure everything, we track everything, and those who are coming to our center are pretty much those who are in poverty, victims of lots of different crises situations, teen pregnancy, generational poverty, lots of seniors who are on fixed incomes and they're struggling to make ends meet. So what we do at CHRC now, we've just recently transitioned to what we call a case management model, which essentially means we're in relationship with our clients. So as our clients come in and are seeking help, we say, okay, we could just give you food, but it would really help if we got to know you and found out why are you struggling in the first place. So if it's because you're underemployed or you're not employed, we want to talk about your educational goals, talk about your job goals, hook you up with a job training program, hook you up with an educational training program. We have financial literacy, parenting classes, nutritional programs. So we're really trying to find out why you're in crisis and help pull those pieces back together through a relationship-based model.
That's phenomenal. So, right, you're not taking the Band-Aid approach.
Right,
we're not just going to put the Band-Aid on it. We're going to actually find out what's underneath that Band-Aid and see if we can heal it in some sort of way.
Exactly.
Now, you guys, I mean, obviously have some success stories. I mean, can you think of one off the top of your head that...
Oh, sure, I can. When a couple came in, I'll give you the short version of it, but a couple came in, they were on the verge of divorce, homelessness, their lights had been turned off, they had no food, and they came to CHRC just completely broken. And they came in and they spoke with one of our intake ladies, and she was just so welcoming and warm. And we were talking about yesterday with my leadership team, what are really our core values at CHRC? And we said, mi casa, su casa, because really, we're just so welcoming and we treat people like their family, and that's what this family was treated that way. And they said something's different about that place. They got plugged into resources. They got plugged in. We have a church, Oak Hills Church, partners with us, and they actually are on our campus as well. And they got plugged into the church, plugged into our resources. They recently bought a home. The mom and dad are both working. The kids are doing great. They're in school. Anger issues have subsided. They're happily married. So it's just amazing how when you actually become relational with someone versus just giving them something, how it can really transform a life.
And also, we had talked about before this, I know that you guys are Christian-based, but you serve anyone.
Sure.
How do you weave the Christianity into what you do? You said that you have a church. Well, I know you're partnered with Oak Hills, but do you have a ministry on campus as well?
We do and we don't. We try to meet we're not a church, so that's what I mean when I say don't. We meet the physical, spiritual, and emotional needs of someone. If they have a spiritual need, we refer them to churches. We don't specifically just partner with one church, so we refer them to any area churches. It works really well that Oak Hills Westside Fellowship is there. In fact, they just had their grand opening of their new building because it's right there on our location, so it's easily accessible to those that live in that community. But we don't just partner with one church in San Antonio.
Which I think is important to point out, because maybe somebody who does need help may say, oh, well, they're going to, shove religion down my throat if I go there when I just need some help. But it sounds like that's not what you guys do.
When they come in, we ask them. And we don't want to be forceful or pressure anyone into that. But we do ask them. We say, hey, how are your spiritual needs being met? And just to let you know, there's someone here to pray with you if you want to pray with them. They'll always be here if you decide tomorrow you want to come back. If you're interested in learning about the church that's right here or about any area churches, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. But in no way do we force religion on anyone or preach at anybody.
That's good. That's good. We have time for about 2 more questions.
Sure.
So let me ask you this as well. Would you say, because I know people watching may think, oh, well, I don't want to donate or I don't want to help, because these are people who just are lazy. They don't want to go out and get a job, and that's why they're broke. But it sounds like that's not really the face of what you're seeing, especially on the West Side. These are families who just may have had a crisis and now are out that money and can't afford to pay for food or whatnot. Is that correct?
Sure. It's kids who grew up in poverty and they didn't have a good role model in their life, and they, it's a cyclical generational poverty. We're really trying to stop that cycle. And second, we're seeing families that are coming in who are struggling for the very first time. They're embarrassed. They're saying, I've never been here to a place like this before. I'm not sure, everyone else is turning me away. That's one thing about CHRC. We're not zip code restricted. Unlike a lot of the pantries in San Antonio, we predominantly serve the west side of San Antonio, but we can serve anybody that's in need. And if we can't serve them, we find someone that can. Through our partnerships.
Fantastic. And you are a 501c3, you are a nonprofit, which means that you do rely on donations. And so what would you say is the best way that people can help?
Well, a couple ways. Of course, we always welcome monetary donations. We need funding to keep all of our programs operational, all of our case managers and our counselors and our intake staff, to just keep the place running. And second, we can take any sort of lightly used clothing or non-perishable food items. And third, they can always volunteer. We have a number of volunteering opportunities on our campus, from your one-time Saturday food sorting and packing and giving to the families to someone who wants to mentor in someone's life on a long-term basis. All of our volunteer opportunities are listed on our website. So if anybody's interested, they can go there and learn all about how they can get involved.
And you just led me to my very last question, which is, what is your website? We'll put up that address.
Sure. It's www.sachrc.org.
Okay, so people can go there, look at that website, find out how you can donate, or maybe even be a volunteer. Fantastic organization, Megan. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much
Good
for
luck.
having me.
We will be back with more Focus on South Texas after the break.